If you notice, I'm at Google's website on Google Forms, but those 9 dots usually have a menu of things you frequently use. Google Forms is not listed for me because I'm using an account that I haven't created a form on. So I'll put the link for this below. Then you click plus to add a form. It's asking if you want a tutorial. I try and make my first question on my form first name, and I make that separate than last name because students have a bad habit of just putting their first name and not their last name. And so when you make the questions required, it kind of helps prevent that from happening. So right now I'm just titling the form. You can customize it to whatever you want. And then you'll notice my first question is going to be first name. And I'm going to require it. You don't have to require it, but if you require it, the form can't be submitted unless they do it. Then you just click the plus sign. You have another question. Now I'm going to put last name. I'm going to require it. Look at all the question types you have. Date is a really good one for any form that you want time stamped. I mean, they're all time stamped, but then you'll have this specific day the person filled it out. This file upload one is the one that I use for photos for my newsletter. They automatically go to my Google Drive in a folder. I can title it whatever I want. I don't have to move them to the folder. It says I have a limit because this is a personal account, not an educator account. So just know that if you're a teacher and you have a Google Drive through your school, you won't have like a limit warning. When you create a multiple choice question, you can add any kind of media to it. So I'm just adding a picture of my logo for my website just to give you an idea. You can add as many options as you want to add to the Google form. And again, later on a tutorial I can show you, like if you miss a question and you want to use this as a quiz, you can even tell it to have you watch an instructional video for each question that you missed. You can do all kinds of things with Google Forms. So if you do a checkbox, that just means they can select more than one option. I use the checkbox as an assistant principal for an agree or disagree box for parents when they sign behavior plans or different things like that. Now you can customize in that little paint palette the theme of your Google form, and if you go to Canva, which is a free website, you can create your own templates, but Google already has some created for you. But if you want them specific to your organization, check out Canva because you can create your own. But I just picked one. I can change the colors to match the graphic up there. I can change the font. This settings button will show you some different options you have with your form. I try to limit it to one response. I like to collect the email addresses so I know who submitted the form. And I always like to allow the person, if they respond and want a result, to have it. You want to click see summary chart and text responses just to get more data. So if you go to the 3 dots, you're going to see some more options for you. You can make a collaborator who can edit the form with you and some other preferences. Once you click on preferences, you see that you can make it each question worth 1 point for a quiz value. You can individualize those if you want on each question, but here I can just make all of them worth 1. And then I'm going to go back to settings, Go to presentations, see there's some options there if I want to check them. You can decide and customize it how you want. And then I'm going to go to quizzes and I'm going to turn on the make a quiz. And then I can delegate whether I want them to see the correct responses. I may not if I have different students taking the quiz that day. The eyeball icon gives you a link that you can share with the people you would like to complete the form. Parents, students, other faculty members. You don't want to share the link to the form that is editable that you're creating. You can also go to the 3 dots and get pre-filled link. It's the same URL or link. As you can see, our Google form is ready to go. You can see the point values. Those wouldn't appear if we didn't want it to be a quiz. But now you know enough information to get started and create your own Google form. Go ahead and give it a try, and in our next tutorial, we'll take a look at what we can do with the data.